Hi, welcome back. Today I want to show you one of my favorite desserts. When I was a little girl, my mother used to make this all the time in German, which is where I'm originally from. It's called Rote Gruetze, which means red grits. And essentially all it is red berries cooked with some form of thickener. People sometimes use sago or flour. And today I'm going to make it in a very low carb way, so you don't have to actually add a lot of high carbohydrate, very starchy thickeners. I usually use frozen berries that you can buy in mixes in the supermarket. This one was cherries, blackberries, blueberries, and some frozen strawberries. And I had some lovely fresh raspberries in my fridge, so I threw a few of those in as well. Berries, by the way, are a very highly nutritious fruit. They contain very little sugar, so they're what we like to call nutrient dense, which means that for every calorie of berries, you get lots of nutrients. So we'll start by pouring a little bit of tart cherry juice, which again is a high concentrate of anti-inflammatory compounds and antioxidants, into a bowl. And I'm going to add a sachet of unflavored gelatin to this. If you're a vegetarian and you don't eat gelatin, you can use agar. And in the recipe on my website, I'll tell you all the other thickeners that you could use instead. So we're going to just let this soften. It'll get absorbed very quickly by the liquid. Now the rest of the cherry juice goes into a pot, to which we also add a cinnamon stick. If you don't have cinnamon sticks, you could just put maybe a quarter to a half teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and then some peel from an untreated lemon, organic lemons preferably, because they haven't got any kind of waxes on them. And I slice this off very thinly so I don't get the bitter pith with one of these potato peelers that I love. And I drop that in there as well. Okay, and then we also add 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. You could use potato starch as well, or flour, any kind of flour that you like. My recipes tend to be gluten-free, so I go with this. And then 3 tablespoons of sweetener. Again, I tend to try to keep things as low in sugar as possible, so I use monk fruit sweetener called Lakanto. It's a combination of monk fruit and erythritol, and it has literally no effect on your blood sugar. It is also non-caloric, but you can equally use honey or maple syrup. Those all work well. This recipe, a version of this recipe was in my cookbook, Zest for Life, and there I used honey, acacia honey, which is very low in glucose and therefore doesn't have much of an effect on your blood sugar. So really, you can tailor this recipe to your preferences. So we mix all this up, the juice with the sugar or sweetener, and then we turn on the heat and let this cook until it starts to thicken. Make sure that you add the cornstarch to cold juice. If you add it to hot liquid, it will start to get lumpy. Right, so you see this is thickening. Once the juice boils, the cornstarch thickens and you get this sort of creamy paste. And to this you now add the berries. They're cold, so they're going to actually cool things down very quickly. And also the gelatin and the rest of the cherry juice, which I put in the microwave for 15 seconds. If you don't have a microwave, you can just do this in a small saucepan on low heat, stirring it well until the gelatin has dissolved. And then all you do is combine the berries with the thickened juice until they're nicely covered in this juice. And then what we will also do is retrieve the lemon zest and the cinnamon stick. And then once you've stirred in all the berries, you transfer it to a nice flat dish and just make sure you get out all the lovely juice with the spatula. There we go. Level it out a bit. Cover it with cling film and refrigerate. This is going to take probably 2 hours to set. Ideally, let it sit overnight, then it'll get really nicely set. What I sometimes do as well is rather than pouring it in one big dish, I put it in 6 small empty jam jars. And that way, if you want to take it to work or on a picnic, it's very easy to transport and actually looks kind of cute. You can eat straight out of the jar. So here it is, your very berry summer pudding. Once it's firm and you serve it, you can accompany it with a blob of Greek yogurt, maybe sweetened slightly with honey or with a little vanilla extract in it. Sometimes I put a blob of sour cream on, or if you're really pushing the boat out, a small scoop of vanilla ice cream or homemade egg custard. The recipe for all of that will be on my website, Recipes for Disaster. The link is below. And if you have any comments or questions, also please leave them in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking on the red subscribe button. Thanks very much. See you soon.